Good morning, guys. So it's Thursday morning today, and we're gonna cook some Shabbos food together. So thank you for coming into the kitchen and joining me for another day cooking. Now, I have some truth to tell you guys. Now, last week, Tuesday, which for me is just a couple days ago, I did not post a video for you. The reason for that is that I did have a video recorded, I had it edited, and I was doing the last final finishing touches on it on Monday morning, and my hard drive crashed. Now, when I record a video for you guys, I transfer the footage onto a hard drive and I edit it on the hard drive and I post it from there. Something happened to the hard drive. I'm not sure what. I'm trying to fix it. But right now, I can't access any of it. I was devastated that I didn't have anything for you because I was so proud of myself that I was disciplined for myself and I was having video up for you guys, and I was almost at a year where I had a video for you guys every single Tuesday, and I did my part. I did everything from my end to be able to have a video for you guys, and it was just out of my control, you know. I tried doing whatever I could to try to recover the footage. My husband tried. He did whatever he could, whatever his knowledge allowed him to do. There was nothing that we could do. So we sent it to someone professional to see what they can do. And if they can recover any of the footage that we lost, then I will share with you guys the video that I was going to have for you guys on this past Tuesday. But yeah, what was devastating also was that I had over there, I was working on a video for you guys from out of the garden to keep you updated with what has been happening, along with a video with, if you've seen, I think it was the one before this one, that I prepped a bunch of marinades and proteins and I put it in the freezer to be able to just defrost and go and have an easier dinner when I'm working outside. And I was showing you how I bring those meals together. And I had quite a few of those done, and I was like going to add one or two more dinners, and I was going to have that video up for you guys as well. So I still want to do that for you. So I am recording again, starting over, making a bunch of new dinners for you guys. And again, whenever I'm working outside, I'm bringing the camera along so I can show you guys in the future what has been happening there. But in order to be able to have so those type of videos, they take a little bit longer. They take a little bit more time to record them. So it has been a very rainy week. We had one nice day yesterday. Today, this morning is actually sunny, but it's not. It's going to be raining soon. So by the time I am ready to go outside, it's going to be raining. Because at this point, I need a lot of my husband's help, and I should really be saying once he's ready to go outside, it's going to be raining. Or it should be raining. So those videos will not be ready for you next week. So today I'm going to take you along and we're going to do some Shabbos cooking. I know that I've done it in the past with you guys, but just so for myself that I have a video for you guys, I'm going to put that out again. And hopefully you enjoy it. I don't remember what I showed you guys in the last Shabbos video, what exactly I made, but let's go along with it. Now I'm going to make sesame salmon first thing, which I know that I've shown you guys already in the past. So I don't have to make challah this week. I made challah last week and I still have 5 in the freezer. So I don't have to make that. But I make sourdough every single week. I already fed my starter early this morning. So I won't be showing you how I fed my starter. If you want to see how I feed my starter, I can link a video for you that is all about sourdough. And you can watch that. But I will bring you along the most that I can for the sourdough process today. I will be making hummus, tahina, tomato dip, a jalapeno garlic confit, and an olive dip. I will be making mayo because I don't have enough. I was thinking of making pesto because I figured I have a lot of for my starts that I can pick off. And I do have a basil plant over here that I bought last week. But I need it for dinner one night, and I don't think I want to use it all up for a pesto for Shabbos. So I think I'm not going to do that. I will be making the sesame sandwich. Like I said, I know that I've made it ready. Soup I made last week, so again, I don't have to make that. But last week I didn't cook up lakshan, a pasta that goes into the soup. So we'll cook that up, which is basic, but I'll show you guys. Later today I will be making cholent. And tomorrow I'll be making kugel, chicken. Oh, I'm going to make a rice, which I know that I don't think I've made it with you guys. But I do need a broth, so I just pulled it out of the freezer. I'm going to let it defrost, and hopefully it will be defrosted soon. I'll be able to make it instead of waiting for it tomorrow. I do have a lot of carrots in my fridge, so I want to make a carrot vegetable side dish to have as well. So I'm going to take you along today, tomorrow, whenever I'm doing anything for Shabbos, I will bring you guys along. So I'm going to start with preheating my oven to 500 for the fish. Now I have my starter in here. I forgot to even turn on the light. But for now we're going to leave it on the counter. And I keep my pans in here, so we're going to get that out as well. Okay, so now we have that preheating to 500. I have my garbage can sitting right here on the side of my island so that as I'm cooking, stuff can go right there. I don't have to walk to the other side of the kitchen. My massively large kitchen. I don't have to walk to the other side. Okay. So let me move you guys around so you can see the counter. I think this way you guys have a great view of the island and my working surface. So for the fish, if you guys don't know yet, we start off with a cookie sheet and parchment paper. Now this recipe calls for a side of salmon, but I know that you can make this with some slices if you don't feed as many people as I do. You would just need to adjust the baking time. Let me wash my hands. Actually, first I'm going to cut off some of the fish here. Okay, as for spicing the fish, there's no amounts, but you're just going to generously sprinkle some garlic salt, salt and pepper. Now, if you were going to do this with slices, I would do the same thing. And like I said, just adjust the baking time. So the first bake is on 500 for 10 to 12 minutes. For slices, I would do probably just like 5 minutes. And then you take it out, you add the peppers, and you add sesame seeds on top of the fish. And then you finish off with the rest of the sauce that you'll see. We're going to prep in a minute. And then you bake it on 350 for 45 minutes. So for slices, I would adjust that to 15 to 20 minutes. So you would bake it for a total of 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, now let's set this aside. We're going to get out a jar. You can do it in a bowl also, but you'll see why I like a jar in a minute, with some soy sauce and some sesame oil. Now I'm going to take equal amounts of both of them. I'm going to cover it and shake. And now we're going to get 3/4 of this mixture on top of the fish. We're going to set the remaining aside. Now I'm going to try to make sure that everything is coated, because you can see some over here. The fish is not fully coated. Now while we're waiting for our oven to preheat, I'm going to get out the vegetables that will go with this, along with jalapeno garlic confit. If you've seen any of my previous videos about Shabbos cooking, you know that I bake the fish on the lower temperature and the garlic confit at the same temperature at the same time, so it's a great 2-in-1. Okay, now these peppers on this side will be for the fish. These are going to be for the jalapeno garlic confit. So I'm going to start with this so that I can get it into the pot that I bake it in. It's been quite a few weeks since I've made these things. The last 2 weekends I didn't host, so I didn't make these things. The 2 weeks before that were Pesach, so I didn't do it either. So it's been a month since I've made like a proper full Shabbos cooking. So it's nice to have you guys with me today. So for the jalapeno garlic confit, just cutting it all into rings. Both of the peppers that will be used will be cut into rings. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm also planning to bake up some of the cookies that I made in the freezer prep video, so that we have some freshly baked goodies. So because it's on such a high temperature, I like to cover this a little bit so that the liquid doesn't splatter and bubble as much. It makes such a big mess in my oven. Now this is going to go into the oven for 12 minutes. And in that time, I should have all of the peppers prepped and ready to go. So we're going to cut all of our peppers, and then I'll come back and finish up the garlic confit. I'll add the oil and spices. Now this video will go up before you guys get an update on the garden. But yesterday we built up our trellis for our tomatoes. Now if you've seen any of my garden videos from last year, then our tomatoes were grown so chaotically. I didn't have a system for them. I just had the cages on them, and a lot of them were actually like the vining types, and they were growing on top of each other. It was so hard to harvest, and I told myself that I'm not going to grow tomatoes this year unless if I have a proper trellising system, and we got that done yesterday. So I'm very excited for that. And slowly our garden is coming together. I'm like the stuff that I've imagined for the past year, the growth that I've imagined, growth as an expansion of the garden, as it's slowly coming together, it is getting me so excited. And I'm actually currently also hardening off all our starts, and I hope to be able to plant it out on Sunday, on Mother's Day. I'm gonna set this aside and I'm gonna finish off jalapeno garlic confit. For this, we're using smoked paprika, and I don't have measurements for you either, because this, depending on how much peppers you use, how much garlic. Oh, I forgot to put the garlic, you see. Cumin, salt and pepper. Because you can play around with this. You can add whatever vegetables you want, whatever spices you want. I've had a lot of questions from people asking me what I'm going to do with all the garlic that I'm growing. Well, first of all, I use my garlic frozen, so I can do this with any of my garlic. Just peel it and freeze it, just like I use this. I'm going to add some avocado oil. And with the garlic, my plan is also to dehydrate some, make some garlic powder, and to grind some up and make garlic pucks. So in my stores, they sell like little garlic frozen cubes, like these. So I can make this with my own garlic. Same concept. So not all of the garlic is going to be used fresh, but I have plenty of plans of how to preserve it so that I can use it throughout the year. Give it a little mix to combine it all. This is ready for the oven. Now I'm going to cut the parchment paper around the fish. And this is absolutely not a must. If you want, you can leave the paper on, or you don't have to use the paper at all. Now we're going to sprinkle our sesame seeds and cover the entire thing. Now we can add our peppers on here. And you can mix the peppers together. I think that for presentation purposes, it's nice when it's separated. The different colors. Looks beautiful. Now we're going to take our remaining sauce that we had set aside, and we're going to pour this over our peppers. We're going to get the fish and the jalapeno garlic into the oven, and we're going to bake this for 45 minutes. And now my goal while that's in the oven is to get most of our dips and salads out of the way. So we're going to clean up here. Going to get the food processor out because most of them is going to get done in that. Okay, so for the dips and salads, I like to work from the ones that are easy to rinse to the ones that are hardest to rinse, so that I don't have to work very hard on cleaning out the bowl between each thing. So the easiest to clean is our tomato dip. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to get tomatoes from here. I'm going to wash it, cut it into quarters, and remove the pits. Not the pits, the cores. We're going to add some garlic and some salt and pepper. I'm going to start blending it, and as I'm blending it, I'm going to drizzle in some olive oil. While that's blending up, we're making our mayo because the olive dip, which we're making next, will need mayo. So we're starting off with some oil. We're going to add an egg plus an egg yolk. And I believe our tomato dip is ready for us. I'm just going to rinse all of the equipment here. I'm not going to wash it with soap. This is another thing I'm so excited to have our garden produce, because the garden tomatoes have some sweetness to it and it makes the tomato dip so good. I'm going to get this covered, get our label on it. Try not to get the label wet because these labels dissolve with water. Into the fridge. Now to finish off our mayonnaise, I'm going to do lemon juice, a little bit of mustard, kosher salt and black pepper. Now the trick to getting a good mayo is the method that you're going to blend it. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop the blender all the way down, turn it on, and slowly bring it up until you get a nice thick consistency. Now, I don't know if I needed the mayo because I still have some over here. But if we don't end up if we end up using all of this and not needing the new one, then this we will enjoy. It won't go to waste. First thing, I'm going to strain our olives, get rid of all the liquid, get the entire jar in here. I think I'll use all of it. And that's it needed for this. And I believe that this is ready. So it can be transferred into our jar. Next up, we'll make our tahina. Now this here is not the first ingredient. I will just do this first so that the cup is a little bit cleaner to get the tahini out of it. We're going to juice a lemon, garlic, salt and pepper to taste. And we're going to start blending it, but as we're blending, we're going to pour in some water. So I prepare it so that I can start pouring it in right away. Because if I blend it for too long before I start adding water, it becomes very thick. That's it, it's ready. And this is going to set up and get thicker as it's sitting in the fridge for the next 24 hours until we start using it. Now with this, I really don't do a thorough job rinsing it because for the hummus, we're using all of these ingredients as well. I think I should get some water boiling for our lakshan, because I think after that we are pretty much done for today. For our hummus, we're going to start off with a jar of cannellini beans and chickpeas, drained and rinsed. Garlic, tahina, juice of 2 lemons, some soy sauce. For spices, we have sea salt, cumin, cayenne pepper, and white pepper. And then we're going to blend it up, and while we're blending, we're going to add some olive oil and water. Cover and into the fridge. Let me get a cooling rack out. Look at this. Look at the sizzle on this. Wow. We're waiting for our water to come to a boil for the lakshan. We're waiting for our broth to defrost for the rice. Other than that, we have kugel, which will be made tomorrow, our vegetable, which will be made tomorrow, chicken, which will be made tomorrow. I think I will prep everything for the cholent in the crock pot. I'll place it in the fridge, and tonight when I get home, I'll just place it into the crock pot to start cooking, because I usually make it from Thursday night. So just the insert. Now for easy cleanup, I use a crock pot bag. But to make it easy, I start off with some water before I put in the bag. So the vegetables that I put in is an onion, 2 potatoes. So I'm going to start by prepping that. I'm going to add our salt. This will cook for probably about 10 minutes. And to avoid the water from bubbling over, I usually put a wooden spoon over top. So we're going to dice our onion. Now if you want, you can saute it. I don't have patience usually to do it Thursday night, so I just add umami spice instead of doing that to add that flavor. I'm going to add that to our crock pot. Next up, we're going to peel, rinse, and cube up our potatoes. Add it to the crock pot, and we are done with this. Okay, now for the beans, I add equal amounts of kidney beans, navy beans, and barley. Spices, I do salt, pepper, garlic, onion, paprika, pepper flakes, a little bit of cayenne pepper, umami. This is to give it like a caramelized flavor, like as if the onions were cooked down. Some salan or date syrup to balance the spice. And some soy sauce. So now before I get to cooking this, I will cover this with water probably till almost the top, and we'll let it cook on low. Now this will go into the fridge for now. I have my strainer in the sink, so we're just going to strain this. I did a quick rinse on these to make sure that they're not hot, and I'm going to divide it into bags because I don't use all of them in 1 week. I think I'll divide it into 4. Okay, so one of this will be closed up and put into the fridge, and the other 4 are going to get labels and go into the freezer for another week. Okay, look at this. We got so much done before our starter is even ready to make our sourdough. So I guess I'll bring you guys along later on. Maybe the sourdough, maybe just the rice once our broth is defrosted. Once our starter is ready, I'm very quickly taking you through the sourdough process. Like I said earlier, if you want to see the full process, I will link the card for you. I will link the video for you. I'm starting off with the starter and water that I need. Next up, I'm adding regular flour and whole wheat flour. I'm going to incorporate it until it forms a shaggy dough. Half an hour later, I come back and add salt and a little bit more water. And I incorporate that until I don't feel any more of the salt granules. And then every half an hour, I come back and I do a stretch and fold. I am only going to show you once, and then I'll show you the shaping process. Which what I do is that I take the dough, I divide it in two because I do a double batch. That means it makes two breads. And I fold it onto itself, and then I shape it. You'll see how I do that. I'm at a loss for words right now. That I coat it with flour at the top, put it into the bowl, flour on the bottom, cover it. Now the next clip here that you'll see is actually Friday morning. I forgot to record when I got home at night. I added water to the cholent, but it worked perfectly. So this here is what our cholent is looking like. It smells heaven. The entire house smells of it. And I'm going to show you later, right before Shabbos starts, we usually put in some kugel in here. So I'll show you what that looks like then. Because it's going to cook down a lot between now and, I don't know, Shabbos starts this week about 7:30, 7:45, I'm not even sure. I gotta check. Hey guys, so today, first thing we're going to start off with is, again, take out our stuff from the oven. And I'm going to preheat the oven to bake our sourdough. But before I preheat it, I'm going to adjust the shelf. And I'm going to get my Dutch ovens in here. And while that is going, I'm actually going to start with the rice. So the rice, yesterday, I completely spaced about it. I was out of the house for somewhere between 5 and 6 hours, probably. Half an hour after I left the house, I'm like, ooh, I forgot to make the rice. So we're going to make it today, along with our chicken and kugel and this and a vegetable. I think that's all we're going to do today. So I'm going to preheat the oven to 500. So for the rice, we're going to start off with an onion and some garlic. I have to check how much garlic. It's been a little while since I've made this rice. Now you're going to want to cut these up the smallest that you can. Now here you can see I'm dicing it really nice and small. There you go. And we're going to mince the garlic. So what I do for mincing is that I first chop it as small as I can. Okay, so the way that I mince it, so I believe that because I use frozen garlic, this method works very good for me. But when I tried it on Pesach with fresh garlic, it didn't work the same. I just take my knife blade and I push down on it. And then I'm going to run through the knife a few times back and forth. And then I'm going to bring it all back and do the same thing again. Because as I'm doing this back and forth, it's going to spread out a bit. I'm going to bring it back into one nice pile. Push down on it again until I get a nice mince. Now I'm going to get my pan out and we're going to get it heating up. I'm going to add some butter. So because I'm going to be serving this at our meal, we're going to be having chicken soup and chicken. And I'm using plant butter. Now, while this is melting, I'm going to prep my coffee and start drinking. And you're going to cook this down until the onions are translucent. Now this shouldn't take very long to become translucent because I cut the onion so small. We're going to start by washing our rice next. Now the easiest way that I find to clean our rice is I have this big sieve. I'll measure the rice out, I'll put it in here, and I'll hold this under the sink until the water runs clear. Okay, now that the water is running clear, I'm going to leave that in the sink to continue straining. And I will get out the rest of our spices. Whatever is going to go in here. Oh, this smells so good. Got our chicken stock. And then we need sea salt and pepper. So we're going to add our rice now. And then we're going to toast this for 1 or 2 minutes. Oh, perfect. Our oven reached temperature. I'm going to add the salt and pepper first before I add in our broth or stock. So we have to let this come up to a boil. Let's get going with our sourdough now. I'm going to get some parchment paper down, open up these flaps, and I'm going to quickly flip it over and release it from the towel. And I usually put the towels on my oven handle so that it can dry, and that's how I prevent it getting moldy. Now we're going to dust it with the flour. Got some ice ready, because when I put these into the oven, I put ice, and for my design, I'm going to make a little bit of a wheat stalk. I'm going to get this into the oven. I'm going to drop a few ice cubes in each of them. We're going to let that go for 20 minutes. Now, it would have been so perfect if this was bubbling, which it actually is starting to, because this also needs to cook for 20 minutes. I think I'm going to cover it. We're going to keep an eye on it, and we'll judge. If it looks done, the rice, then we'll turn it off in 20 minutes. If not, we'll make an additional timer for it afterwards. So while this is going, I'm going to enjoy my coffee. So I checked the rice halfway through, and it didn't have any liquid yet, but the rice looked like it needed more time. And now I can't taste it because I just had my coffee. This has the broth. Now it feels fine. So I'm gonna turn off the heat. We're gonna let it steam. And for our sourdough, we're gonna drop our oven temperature to 450, and we're gonna uncover it and bake it for 30 minutes. Okay, once those are done, we're gonna come back and make our chicken and our kugel. Okay, while we're waiting for our sourdough to finish, we're gonna peel the potatoes for our kugel. And while we're waiting here, I'm also gonna cut our onion into quarters. Now that our rice has cooled off quite a bit, I'm gonna transfer it into a pan here, disposable pan, because I need this pot to be able to fry up our chicken. Give this a quick wipe, and we're gonna let it finish air drying until we're ready for it. I'm gonna get out a cooling rack for our breads. I'm gonna let this cool somewhere else. Next up, I'm gonna take this cookie sheet that I've been using for when I make kugel. I put it on the bottom rack in case if any of the oil spills over, it doesn't dirty up my oven. And whenever I do this, I don't regret it. Now in this 9x13, I'm gonna get some oil on the bottom. I'm gonna raise the oven temperature to 550. Now this will preheat, the oil will preheat very fast because the oven is already hot. I need it to reach the temperature that I need, but it's hot. So before I get that in, I'm gonna get everything ready, including the eggs. Like that, once we get that into the oven, things will just move along very fast. I'm getting my blade. Okay, I'm gonna use this pot as my mixing bowl, and I'm gonna crack 6 eggs in here. Gonna get my vegetables here. Actually, let me first quickly combine the eggs. I'm gonna whisk it. So we're gonna get our pan into the oven to preheat. And now I'm gonna alternate putting in potatoes and onions in here and shredding it up. We're gonna get the rest of our potatoes and onions into our mixing bowl. Now we're gonna combine this with eggs. We're gonna get our oil out. I don't want it to burn. We're gonna add salt and pepper. And we're gonna do white pepper over here. Now we're gonna pour most of our oil over the onions, but we're gonna leave some in here. And now we're gonna mix this in again. Pour this into our pan. I'm gonna even out the top, get it nice and flat. Okay, we're gonna get this into the oven, and this is gonna bake for an hour. Next, we're gonna do our chicken. For our chicken, we're gonna start off by heating up our oil. So we have chicken tenders here. I'm gonna start off in a bowl. So I find that this chicken is not one that's good if you start breading it beforehand, but I will prep our breading station, but I will bread it as it's going into the oil. So we're gonna start off over here with some flour, some salt, some garlic, some pepper, and paprika for color. We're gonna combine this, and we're gonna start with some Rice Krispies in this bowl. I'm also prepping a plate with some paper towel right over here, so that when our chicken comes out of the oven, out of the oil, it can drain the excess oil over there, along with 2 forks to be able to flip and remove our chickens. So I needed eggs. I forgot about eggs. I'm gonna crack that in our center bowl here. So we're gonna take one chicken at a time, coat it with flour, dip it in the eggs, coat it in Rice Krispies, and drop it in the oil. And then repeat. So we're gonna repeat this until all of our chicken are done. So I have a few carrot recipes. I'm going to decide which one I want to make. I know that I want it roasted. I think we're going to do za'atar carrots. And while that's going, I'm going to start by peeling our carrots and cutting them up. The way I'm going to cut it is on diagonal. I'm going to get rid of the top and the bottom. And we're going to cut it into thin-ish pieces. And while we're waiting for that, we're waiting for our kugel too, and I'm gonna get our carrots ready to go. So I have a cookie sheet here. I'm gonna go get a new roll of parchment paper. Okay, I'm not gonna put the oil or spices on here yet because I don't want it to draw out any additional moisture from the carrots. I'm gonna set this in the fridge until we're ready for it. While that's finishing up, I'm gonna get to washing our dishes. Okay, now that this is done, we have 5 more minutes for our kugel. When that timer beeps, I'm going to lower the oven temperature to 350 and we're going to bake it for an additional 30 minutes. Once that comes out, we'll come back and bake our carrots. Now for our carrots, we're going to drizzle it with some olive oil. And now we're going to sprinkle some za'atar on it. We're going to toast this to combine. Spread it out. No overlapping pieces. Okay, for about 20 to 25 minutes. So we're going to start with 20 and we're going to check it. So our cookies just came out of the oven. And this is what they're looking like. These look delicious. And this is actually the second time I'm baking it. Last time I made it, I realized that they don't crinkle from the freezer. They still taste delicious, but they don't look like a proper crinkle cookie. We're still going to enjoy it. It's about 4 hours to Shabbos, and it's time to set the table. Now, usually this gets done Thursday night with my husband, but because we were out, he didn't get to this, so we're going to get to it now. So I finished clearing it. Now before we do anything, I'm going to wash it. I'm going to put a tablecloth on, and then we'll set the table. So Shabbos is going to start in a few minutes. Got to heat up our soup. I have them defrosting here in the sink. I took them out of the freezer a couple hours ago, so they're only starting to defrost. I'm going to leave this here to start defrosting and melting before I cover it. And I'm going to get the hot water urn going. That's something that I keep out all week long, so I have to set it up special for Shabbos. Now I got my hand towel here for when we wash on our challah. And I usually leave the hot water in this corner, so I'm going to move our bananas. Ooh, I walked away. I overfilled it. I'm going to turn you guys around so you see a view that you don't get to see too much, my fridge. Because I'm going to fill up some pitchers with some water and I'm going to put it into Shabbos mode. So to get this into Shabbos mode, I have to press 2 buttons over here simultaneously and hold it down for a few seconds. You'll see the light will turn off. There we go. The last thing I'm doing before getting ready for Shabbos is getting our dips and salads into the bowls here. This is a set that I got as a gift and I love it because it has the tray, which is easy for transporting, and it has the spoons and it has the covers, which makes it very easy to put it in the fridge so that we can save all this for the Shabbos morning meal. Now you can see I put in chickpeas here. You'll see in a second that I put it back in the container. That's because my husband reminded me that we have regular pickles and spicy pickles. He's cutting that up. And you can see over here the jalapeno garlic confit, it congealed because it was in the fridge. Next up, you'll see my husband over here cutting a big piece of kugel, and he's putting it in the parchment paper, putting it into the chont, into the crock pot. Next up, once our soup is boiling, we're going to get the hot plate on. We cannot have anything directly on the fire. I am adding whatever else I want warm onto the hot plate. Then we put the rest of our challahs here, we put our fish out here, and it is time to light. It is Shabbos, it's time to relax and have some quality family time. So guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, I hope you will subscribe, hit the like button, and follow along with my next video. Hopefully will be a garden one. Hope to see you next time.